Hey guys, okay, this is like the 90th time I'm starting this video. Everything's going wrong. And I have to be careful because management is watching me. If you see back there, they're going to make their way in here in a second. This is Lucy. Say hi, Lucy. She's like, oh, she's a very happy, friendly dog. And then Gypsy, of course, is the chihuahua in the background. And she is, Lucy's going to sit down here with, she's going to sit on my lap. This is the video that just keeps having things go wrong with it. She kind of come in the video. You know, she's camera shy, but apparently Gypsy is not. Okay, so she's going to be in the background as management for a little bit today, and I'm just gonna so you can watch her. You get bored with me? Look at her. Okay, doing this video, everything has gone wrong, so that means that's okay. That's okay. And I am having eye trouble today, so hence the glasses. So I actually took the ring light off and have a lamp on. So if you get any glare, I'm trying to keep my head down. It's 105 here today, so I have my drinky drink and my hair is not done. But it doesn't matter because we're going to talk about spiritual, weirdo, esoteric things. This morning, I was listening to two different lectures. One was by Alan Watts and one was by Terence McKenna. And if you're not familiar with them, I will link them down below. They're very, very good. Depending on your age, you might have never even heard of them. One was from the 90s and one was from the 60s and 70s. So they are... Oh. This video does not want to get made, so my ring light was just about to fall and conk me on the head. Let me just put this back up here for balance, though. Okay. I'm just going to put that so the camera's steady. Okay. Video does not want to get made today. That must mean it's really super top secret information. And Gypsy's just licking her paws, having fun. So what they said in their lecture, they both said it, and they're very far apart, and they don't have a lot of the same philosophies. I mean, there is some overlap, but they're not. Terence McKenna was more a psychonaut, which is the people that take mind-expanding drugs to go in and do a lot of work and a lot of self-discovery. And Alan Watts, while he was a drinker, I don't think he really... at that time, LSD was big. I don't think he really fell into that crowd. He was more about Eastern philosophy. So the fact that the two of them overlapped was really significant. They talked about an idea of creating your own reality. So there's a lot of manifesting. I'm not super fond of that word just because it's so overused and it's used incorrectly, because we're actually manifesting all the time, constantly. You're always manifesting. I come from a more psychology and physics background, but I also have the spiritual and esoteric background. So your thoughts in physics, and this is how I want to start splitting my videos up, is the scientific explanation and then the esoteric explanation of everything that we do. So the science, the physics and the psychology explanation, which I think I'm going to do a video later on why I'm not too fond of psychology, even though I have psychology degrees. The physics and the psychology explanation is that this is an observational universe, okay? So nothing can exist without your participation, without your observation. In Eastern philosophy, it's, if you've heard if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, did it make a sound? So that's a question of observation. In physics, there's the very famous split particle experiment where they put a particle splitter up, and the particles behave differently depending on if somebody was observing it and who was observing it. So when the same person observed it, they got the same results. When they brought a different person in, different results. When the person expected all the particles to go one way, that's how it behaved. So in the scientific world, we are creating constantly with our thoughts, with our energy, and with our vibes. Now, in the esoteric world, we are creating constantly with our thoughts, with our vibes, with our feelings. It's the same thing. So when Terence McKenna brought this up, I thought it was fascinating. He was in the early... And Gypsy's going to town on her paws back there. So if I get boring... It's like when in the old workout videos where it's like, if you can't keep up, you know, there's a modification. So if you get bored, you can always watch Gypsy. So... Oh, there she goes. She heard her name. Here she comes. You gonna come say hi? Okay. I don't know why she's being camera shy because she normally isn't. Oh, she's like, screw this, I'm leaving. Okay, so Terrence McKenna was in the early '90s, very much in the infancy of this interview was done in the early '90s, in the infancy of the internet. So he was talking about coding. What he said was fascinating. He said that don't pay somebody a whole bunch of money to do your website. Just learn how to code. Any little kid can learn HTML. It's just a language. It's just da 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 da. Okay. And he said once you do that, you create something on a page, and then you can go back in, and whenever you want, put in a different piece of code or a different line of code. Gypsy sneezing and Lucy snoring. So again, if you hear weird noises, that's not me. So you can create a different line of code. Okay, so then Alan Watts, so I was like, wow, yeah, and he likened it to life. Okay, so a little bit later, I'm getting ready, and I have no nails today, but my eyeshadow's killing it. Okay, I was getting ready. I was putting on my shoujo up, and Alan Watts, I had him playing just on a loop, just YouTube. He just popped up. He said almost the exact same thing, but he was taking it from Eastern philosophy. Basically, if there's any part of the story you don't like, then you can just take that part out and sub in a new piece, and you'll get a different result. This is a lot like reality transurfing, which, since I do a form of psychology based on physics, that's what reality transurfing is. It's physics mixed with everything else. It's the exact same thing. So whenever I don't like the term manifest, I know it's there's nothing wrong with the word. It's just I think it's used incorrectly because we are constantly creating. We're constantly writing our own script. We're constantly changing our coding. We're constantly making a new reality. Or I shouldn't say making a new reality, we're making a reality because there's infinite realities. So when you have to do something, when something is bothering you, okay, just think about it that way. Picture in your head if you're meditating or if you're doing a lot of the manifestation meditations. And I have a chihuahua climbing on me right now, so she might pop up at any second. When you're doing the manifestations, either the rituals or if you're doing the meditations or you're doing journaling or whatever, just I want you to break it down because a lot of the stuff can seem woo-woo or it can seem mystical or it can seem very distant, and it's not distant. It's actually quite scientific, and that's why I like the physics, because physics actually backs and supports all of this stuff. And take that piece of coding out. That's all you have to do. Think of it like that. Just like you're writing a line of code for a computer program or for a website or for whatever, and you're going to take that piece out, okay, and you're going to put a new one in. And that's going to change. If you did that on a website, that would change what the page looked like. That would change the font. It would change whatever, okay? So do that instead. Think of it that way. And then I know when I talk to a lot of my clients, I talked to one this morning, and she talks specifically about, but it seems so far away. We manifested everything else she wants. Everything. We've manifested career, money, animals, homes, like you name it. Because she talks about manifestation. That's no problem. I can get her through that. And it goes very quickly. But she's having some trouble with a certain relationship. And even this morning, and it's funny because when she has changed the script, did a different font, changed the coding. Basically, when she behaved off the norm, this person came back into her life in literally one day. Every time she did it, okay? But we were talking about this morning, and I said, you keep talking about this person like they're over the next mountain, which I believe is a Neville Goddard phrase. Like they're far away, like you have to climb a mountain to get to them. I said, so that's always going to be the case. They're always going to seem like they're far away. So you have to understand that they're right next to you. You have to understand they're right with you. They're not far away. And so we talked about that, and I got a text message a very short time later. I mean, I talked to her this morning, and it's now, I think, like 2 o'clock. I got a message from her, and she said, guess who called me and wants to go out? Because it was a guy, and I was the person she was worried about. Because it's just changing that coding. That's all it is. It's just putting in a different, and it doesn't have to be a big piece of coding. It can be a little tiny piece of coding. So it was just super cool that Alan Watts and Terrence McKenna both came up with that, and they're both pre-internet, pre-website. Terrence McKenna, like I said, he passed in 2000, but this interview was from before that, so it was really, really cool that they both broke it down that simply. And so I think a lot of people have trouble, or they feel bad, or their manifestations aren't coming, or they're like, why am I, I have a psychology practice, so it's a lot of, why am I not getting better? What's wrong with me? Just a bad piece of code. It's just, and if you talk to any software engineer, any computer engineer, it's this much. It's a little tiny bit. It's not the whole thing. You don't wipe out the whole webpage. Don't wipe out your whole life. Don't label everything as like completely screwed, It's usually just a little tiny piece of coding. So that's actually something that I help people a lot with. Lucy agreed. Have you heard the flap flap? You heard the ear flap flap? I'm trying to get her to come on camera. Come here. Come here. She really does not want to. She's being very shy. I'm going to see if I can pick her head up. Oh, I can barely see her. She does not want to be on camera at all. She's loving it though. She's a good girl. So, she gave me paw. That's her version of high five. So, if you enjoyed this, if you like this, like, subscribe, bell icon, everything. I'm going to be trying to putting up 2 to 3 videos a week because I'm just starting. I'm just learning. Any comments you can give me to help, please do, because I need all the help in the world with this. I'm just learning. Well, today I had 4 rough starts on this video, so technically this is like my 10th video, even though it's my 4th posted. So give me a like, a subscribe, comments. Try to keep them positive because I am just learning. I don't know everything yet. And anything you would like for me to discuss, if you want to speak to me personally one-on-one, I have my links to the website below, and you can make an appointment to speak with me directly. So I do a combination of, like I said earlier, a combination of physics and psychology. And one of the things I found, because I worked in psychology for many, many years, I worked in coaching for many years, executive coaching, and what I found was a lot of people came to me and felt broken with psychology, and like they weren't doing it. Like they were told, oh, do this and you'll feel better, and they did it and they didn't feel better, so they thought something was wrong with them. So no, it's not. I've studied every form of psychology you can imagine. I've worked in it for a number of years. I developed my own theories and my own processes based on physics and based on some other different principles that actually get results. And I can teach you the tools, and you can have them forever. And that's it. So if you want to speak to me, and yes, I do get into, I have a lot of clients who, yes, they want to get help emotionally and do psychology work, or like I always say, my process picks up where psychology leaves off, but it gets results. And I am open to talking about more spiritual things where a lot of therapists don't want to get into the spiritual or want to get into manifesting. There's that word again. I gotta think of a better word. I don't mind manifesting because that's just, I think manifesting is just realizing or it coming into the material world, your thought form. That's all it is to me. So I think it's completely natural. It's like breathing. I think it's just normal thing to do. So I do work with people on that also. And we wrap it in among with how you're feeling, how you're doing emotionally. So it's not just like, here's your manifest thing. And then, because I heard a quote the other day that a Lamborghini is just a car in 3 weeks. So people that like dream of their dream car, want it so bad and want it so bad and want it so bad, they get it, okay? And then in 3 weeks, it's just a car. it didn't fulfill them. It didn't make them feel better. So I do a lot of work with people. We can work with manifesting also. I do a lot on the Neville Goddard reality transurfing realm more than law of attraction, Abraham Hicks, but I'm versed in all of those. So there's a lot of the same concepts that travel through. So I can work with a bunch of different techniques, whatever techniques you tend to go toward, and I can steer you toward really good techniques that'll jump you to the next level. But then at the same time, I do a lot of support in the back end, because like I said, you can get your goal, but if you're a wreck or if you're a mess or you're just doing it to fill that void, it's gonna be a Lamborghini in 3 weeks. It's just gonna be a car in 3 weeks. In a couple weeks, it'll be like, now what? What's next? What's next? What's next? So I work through a lot of that stuff with people. So that's about it. This was a much longer video than I expected, but I'm glad, because the first 5, the first few attempts did not go well. So check this out. What is it? Bell. I gotta remember how to do this. I'm gonna have a little list next time. It's gonna be like bell icon, subscribe, and check out the website, which I am currently building. I'm trying to add a page a day, because I do have clients in the meantime. I have like 4 this afternoon. So I'm just piecing it together, and any help I can get, anybody that wants to reach out and let me know how to do things better, faster, please tell me. I'm all ears. And thank you guys. And I'm glad you guys got to meet my dogs finally in this video. I'm sure they'll be popping up more, because they do, they keep an eye on me, to make sure I'm working hard. So I hope you have a great day, guys, and I will post another video hopefully this week, and let me know any subjects that you would like to explore further, and I'd be happy to talk on those. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.